Hello, hello, hello. Got me share up with you guys. This video is going to be very different from anything else I've ever done. One of my students was like, hey, I don't really understand what I do whenever I'm actually behind the wall as Steve, especially whenever they aren't approaching, and how to have the patience to mine behind the wall. And I think, first of all, I think those are very good questions, and that's why I'm making this video, because I think other people might struggle with the same thing. Steve is the best character, and a lot of people force themselves to play Steve because they're the best character. And, well, I don't judge, and I don't personally believe in that philosophy. I think if you're going to commit to it, you need the mental to commit to all the BS that comes with the stupid character. And being able to place walls and mine behind them and just be a very good camper in general is part of it. So, first of all, it is boring. 100% agree with you. It can be very boring. But here, first of all, here's like the mentality I have towards mining. And it's that mining alone does not win me the game. It does not. And at the end of the game, I still have to play the player to player aspect in order to win this match. But just like how whenever you fight the inner dragon in Minecraft, you want to get tools first. You want to be as prepared as possible before you go in the end and you fight the Ender Dragon. So, how do we do this? We get resources. Anytime I see a block, even if I don't think it's actually that useful, like, of course, I'm not going to be too excited when I see dirt. I know that's a potential block I have in my future to use against this opponent. Imagine this is Mars, and that dirt changes if you win or lose. I don't know how it would, but let's just say it matters. And it can matter. I just don't have like a specific scenario in my head. So, anytime I'm mining, I just see progress. I'm making small progress towards my side quest that'll hopefully help me win this. Another thing is I know by mining this and crafting tools, I know that if I make mistakes in my advantage state, which Steve's advantage state can be really complicated and is very prone to SDI, he can cover for it, but it's very exhausting to do and also very tough to do. So the better the tool, if you make a mistake in your advantage state, like let's say you don't zero death them, you only get 60. Well, good thing I made diamond, so diamond F smash can start killing them. That is a window for a comeback and a window to make up for those opportunities. While if I'm stuck with wood on the other hand, when I make a mistake, I feel it a lot more. I think another thing is being conscious of why you're actually placing down walls. Because especially at the start of the game, people place down the 3 block walls and don't really think about it. I think it's cool thinking about why you're actually placing down the 3 block wall. For example, a 2 block wall is also really good versus a lot of the cast. Sometimes you can do this, or you can do, like, I'm actually really bad at placing blocks, but you can do something like this. Hold on. There we go. I did it. But you can also place something like this. It really depends on their kit and how good they are. Versus Bowser, you'll never catch me doing something like this. Never. Because I know they can S-match through it, and then they have no in lag either. Now, versus someone like, let's say, what's a good example? Mario. Versus someone like Mario, what do they benefit from having that block commissioner? Because they can air dodge through, of course, but they won't actually get, like, a frame advantage. And now you have stage control, and there's a wall behind you, and then you can combo them to death, or like put them off stage and block them with a block. So like versus like Mario, I think placing down on like a wall with a gap is actually really cool. I think just thinking about your walls intelligently also makes it less boring. Now, of course, the mining parts always can be the most boring part, but thinking of it as a side quest and knowing you're making progress that will make it easier and less stressful if you make a mistake, I think is really important. Now, what do they do? What do we do if they aren't approaching? So for some characters, especially like Min, they don't really have to approach in the first place. Same with like Meat Gunner. Meat Gunner can just go neutral B, neutral B, neutral B. It's more complicated than that at like a higher level, but you get the gist. They can be far away and still pressure Steve while he's in the block. That is an entirely different thing. I'm gonna focus on like the 95% of characters that cannot do that. So if they are not approaching, and like even like Link, he can toss bombs up there, but one, Steve can grab it and then also toss it on stage, or like keep it in his hand while he's mining, or he can see the bomb coming, so he can at least like shield it and stuff. While with, like Ram and stuff, it's a lot harder to like notice. But whenever we're behind this wall and they aren't approaching, just think of it as you making progress, and think of it as them. Think of it as like a knowledge check. If they aren't approaching you when you have a lead, they are either don't understand that they have to approach at some point, or you're pissing them off. In this game, a huge part of it is the mental game. So honestly, if someone's like playing like freaking Dr. Mario and they aren't approaching versus Steve, I even though it might be a bit BM and a bit unoptimal, I want that Steve player to continue placing walls. Even if they're bad walls or you're wasting blocks, training their mental and making them mad is so good. It's very good. Because you make them tilted and overall it makes the game easier. Because they get tunnel vision. They want to kick your butt, but they can't really focus so much on the how. So, what if they are approaching? Let's talk about the options if they are approaching. So generally, they're gonna have a 3-block wall, and your opponent's gonna be like right here. And here, your opponent has a couple options. They can either jump over it, they can either swing at it, or if there's like a little, or like specifically, they can focus on this bottom block to try to get through. And like the fourth option is they prioritize the crafting table. But I'm gonna focus on those main three things. They can also like some characters can also hit the block, but I think that them doing this to the wall and them doing this to the wall has very similar consequences, except there's slightly more in lag on the smash attack, or if not, a significant amount. That's like the big difference. So if they try jumping in, first of all, you want to be as close to the blocks as you can. You might be wondering why. And so you can tech. If they do like something that goes down, like straight down, you can just go, oop, I DI to the right, I tech, and then I get to swing. And generally, a lot of characters, when they jump in, they drift as much as possible because they don't want to land on top of you because you can just up to wherever. So they'll land next to you. This means that you, right here, you have stage control. You have a wall behind you protecting you, and they are closer to the void. So it's a lot easier to force edge guard situations, or just like kill them with like some up tilt stuff. You can also do like up smash, which is really nice. Or if you know what they're gonna do after they jump in, like cloud players say, like going, "Ooh, look at me, forward there." You can just parry that and like get like potential bigger punish with like F smash or whatever. Parrying is also really important to see, but we're focusing on the blocks for now. So that's like how you deal with people jumping in. Now, of course, then go like we psych or like especially if they like multiple jumps like pit, then go like a jump, jump, jump. Oops, psych, I go away. And of course, there's gonna be mix-ups to everything. They can like delay their approach or whatever. Like a cloud player instead of doing back around the wall, they go like. But I'm teaching you the generalizations of how to deal with each of these things, and you as a player can can like adapt what I'm telling you now for set delays and stuff. So let's focus on the second thing. Why they're just like kind of like just hitting the wall. So you have a couple options. You can either directly counter it with like an F smash near the wall. But sometimes you don't like want to take that trade, especially if it's like a big hit. Like especially if you're like fighting DK, you don't really like oh I S smash because usually it'll go through the wall, and sometimes like they do it with like a monkey punch, and that has super armor, and that is really scary. So you have a couple options. You can either one stay away from the wall, and then punish it with whatever. You can place traps down with TNT, especially there's like a platform above you. It can be really nice. And basically, if they hit this TNT, it'll land on the pressure plate and then it'll explode. I highly recommend this. If one you can like see it and understand when the TNT is gonna explode after it gets hit. Like if you see giant punches, probably gonna automatically explode. Versus like smaller hits that poke through, like maybe DK down B, it might not explode immediately or might not get pushed back far enough. And also understanding when you have the space behind the wall to actually afford that. Um, let's see. Yeah, so yeah, there's TNT. There's doing the back air. There's doing like the forward smash. And the other thing is you can go, oh, they are pressuring my block. They are over here. They're hitting it with aerials. I'm gonna go. I'm on this side. I'm like, whee! And that is a big part of having resources. Getting out of the corner with minecart, especially versus like Zirsu and like a bunch of other characters. From the side, they really struggle dealing with minecart, which is the side that they would have to deal with it from. For example, Zero Suit Samus, the only way she can like consistently hit you out of minecart is if she directly hits your head. None of her like the hitboxes on her moves hit minecart and hit you. Back air, for example, it'll break the minecart but it won't actually hit you, and a lot of her moves do this. So you can also just minecart out of here, or there's another option. You can try going for the plank. I personally cannot plank, so I cannot show that. But either planking or just going to the ledge can be actually a fine option. Of course, depends on who you're fighting, but if a character that you're trying to time out cannot deal with planking, I highly recommend learning how to do that. So those are like the main options for either doing this. And if they're specifically trying to like break this bottom block here, and they're trying to run through, you can do a lot of the similar options you do with number two, which is if they're trying to like go like ooh aerial on the blocks or whatever. Very similar counterplay. The other main difference is that if they break the block, you can do like a dash attack. Because usually if they're doing it, it's more committal or just a poke through blocks. So you can like stand right next to the block and go like either forward smash or dash attack, or you can go like whoop. I don't have the resource, but that's the jab. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. I hope this helps. I know I'm a bit of a yapper. I don't have like a script or anything. And generally I do this with like Google Slides. So if you enjoy this style of video, let me know, and I do hope this is helpful.